The American people these days have a very low level of trust in the mainstream media. And I argue that that level should go even lower. In other words, the media has earned our contempt, distrust, and disbelief. Now, there's a survey out. It's conducted by Reuters. It's an international survey about different levels of trust in the media, the mainstream media, in different countries. Out of 46 countries, the U.S. comes in dead last. The media is trusted the least. Survey with 92,000 respondents. Only 29% of Americans say that they can trust most news most of the time. And Finland has, by the way, the highest level of trust in the media, 65%. This survey, very, very telling. And what I find interesting is that people don't just consider the press to be biased, getting it wrong through honest mistakes. They consider these people to be outright liars. 56% of Americans agree with the following statement. Journalists and reporters are purposely trying to mislead people by saying things that they know are false or gross exaggerations. Now, the question is this really true? Are people knowingly lying? I want to give an example from my own experience that shows that they are. Now, several years ago, distinguished reporter for the New York Times, his name is Fox Butterfield, Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter, so kind of a symbol of the New York Times and its grand motto, all the news that's fit to print. So this guy did a kind of attack job on the Dartmouth Review, the renegade conservative newspaper I used to work for eons ago when I was a student at Dartmouth. And Fox Butterfield quoted me in the article as saying the following. The question is not whether women should be educated at Dartmouth. The question is whether women should be educated at all. And the idea here, this was supposed to be like a body slam on me. And it was picked up by a lot of other media. Oh, Dinesh is such a sexist, he believed. I'd go speak on campus and people would say things like, Mr. D'Souza, the question is not whether women should be educated at Dartmouth. The question is whether women should be educated at all. Do you think that's funny? And I'd go, yeah, I think it's pretty funny. But I would go on to point out, I didn't say it. Yes, it was published in the Dartmouth Review, but another guy, a fellow named Keeney Jones, he's the one who said it. So I thought, look, let me call up Fox Butterfield on the telephone and tell him this. You attributed a quotation to me that is actually false. It's not said by me, so please publish a correction. So I get Fox Butterfield on the phone, and I say, hey, Fox, I understand you tried to do a body slam on me, but it didn't really work because the quotation you attributed to me was not said by me. He goes, yes, it was. I go, really? It was said by this other guy, Keeney Jones. He goes, I know. He goes, but you wrote an article about the Dartmouth Review and Policy Review years later, and you quoted that line. And I go, yeah, but me quoting a line and attributing it to someone else doesn't make it my line. He goes, well, yes, it does. And I go, well, Fox, you've now quoted that line in your article. Can I now say that you said it? Dead silence. But the bottom line of it was he didn't want to do a correction. In other words, he was a knowing liar. He wasn't a guy who made a big mistake. He was in his zeal to get me, got the wrong quote, but then was willing to correct it. No. So we're getting here the psychology of the media in a nutshell. Coming back to the survey by Reuters, trust in government is at a kind of all-time low, 28%. But journalists at 21% are even lower. So the media is in a very bad way in American society. And I think we should trust them even less. My motto in this area is don't trust them even when they're telling the truth. Why? Because if someone is a chronic liar, a habitual liar, it's too difficult to disentangle, this one time they're telling the truth. No, don't believe them because of their track record and their kind of systematic tendency to mislead the public. Simply disbelieve everything they say. In fact, most of the time you'd be better off believing the exact opposite of what they say. If they're excited, you should be demoralized. If they're demoralized, you should be excited because what they're demoralized about is probably something very good. I don't know the way out of this other than to have new media, better media, more reliable media at the end that does in fact earn the public trust.